Yo, you. Peace, power, prosperity to the village. You already know what it is. Hope everybody's enjoying their Friday morning, their Saturday evening, their Saturday mornings, wherever you at, your Thursday nights. Hope everybody's enjoying their time, being productive members of society, and being good people in your household, I guess, right? Stable people in your households, whatever, wherever you reside at. Y'all know it's a love thing. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate the villagers hitting the buttons. Appreciate the replay gang. Appreciate the ninja watchers. Y'all already know. I fuck with y'all ninja watchers for the ninjas out there. Y'all get it.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
You already know what we're here to do. I'm about to talk about Charlie Kirk. And that Charlie Kirk is an informant. I have no doubts in my mind that he's an informant. But not the type of informant we're thinking about. Not the informant where they got papers on them. Not the kind of informant who we call snitches and rats. He's not that type of informant, right? Nah, that's not his stilo. He's the informant that from what I've noticed about him, he speaks to the level of conviction, right? And when your conviction is rooted into your religion, it tends to be rooted into your behavior and your culture, right? That's why he's an informant. I think that's why he's not here anymore. I've said that, been saying it for weeks now. The reason why he's not here is because of what he would have found from that audit. The audit that he was requesting, that Department of Government Efficiency audit that he requested that Turning Point USA do, that in his demise, him being neutralized, I got that word from Baron. Shout out to Baron Coleman. I heard him say the word neutralized the other day. I was like, that's a really good way to put it. Neutralized. BP's Baron Coleman's over there doing amazing work. Shout out to you, bro. See this video, big salute, state of course. That's the reason why he had to be removed. Because the things that were going to be exposed in that Doge audit would have been for lack of better words, it would have been the direct confirmation of his suspicion. We can't sit here and think that somebody would just sanction an audit. And while he's calling for the audit, he removed Tyler, what's that boy name? Tyler Boyer, right? He removed Tyler Boyer from his slot, right? And put that dude Justin. You put the other guy Justin, right, as the new COO, Chief of Operations, right? He moved Tyler, put Tyler over there at Turning Point Action. He put him at another company, right? That's attached. It's still attached to TPUSA. It's still attached to TPUSA. Let's not get it twisted. But he removed him from being in the main company. The main company is Turning Point USA, TPUSA. That's the main company. Moved him from the main company and put him in one of the other companies that is attached to it. Attached to it meaning that if my company is FDNHT and I make another company that's attached to it, it's going to be attached to it by name. So it'll be FDNHT Trin. And I make another one that says FDNHT Mixed or FDNHT Roddy or FDNHT M Love, right? You can see the pattern in there. The pattern will be FDNHT. So he moved them to the other company. Turning Point Action. That's what he moved them to. And we already watched this video early on this week, right? And that dude's a piece of work. That dude can't even answer simple questions. He'd be waffling, sitting there just talking, running his gum, bumping his gum. His gum probably bloody. That's how much he bumped his gum. And there's no answers being given, no direct answer. He just talks around it. He's a piece of work. He's like having one shoe. It's a waste. What up, Red? I had a video for you too. I found it the other day. I saw it and I kept it. I stashed it somewhere. I just can't remember where I stashed it at. I don't know if it's on the Twitter or I stashed it in the IG. It's somewhere around here though. But what he was going to find, this is my belief, speculation, but it's an educated speculation. It's educated guess from the data we received from Candace, from Baron, from even Trigger Smarts putting that information out there. Kelly Rabon's putting information out there. John Brace putting information out there. Jesse on Five. A lot of people are just putting out information. Like I said, Candace got into the lane and everybody's just hauling ass right behind her. Everybody's going down I-95 all the way in the left lane and they hauling ass right behind Candace. And she's leading the charge on this. Shout out to Candace also. I believe that's why he's not here. Because once he's pulling on that tread that he's going to find, a bunch of questions that are going to have to be answered. And the more questions he's going to ask is the more things he's going to find out. I personally believe that he was absolutely the face. Absolutely the face. Yes, it's his company. He's the big dog. He's absolutely the face. They love his face. They love his speech. He was the one that drew the people in. Right? Wasn't Tyler. Right? Wasn't Justin. Wasn't McCoy and him. Right? What's the other dude's name? The weird one. Andrew Kovac. Not him. Charlie's face was the ticket. His speech was the icing on the cake. Right? His mannerisms, how he behaved himself. All those things came together. And he was the absolute poster boy for TPUSA. It's his company. He's the big dog, such as life. And in companies, you have certain divisions. Accounting division, HR divisions, right? What's the one that does advertising division, right? Marketing divisions. It is extremely hard to know exactly every single thing that's going on in a company, especially when your company is bringing in that amount of money. It's extremely hard. Hence the reason why an outside look on a Doge audit would have been perfect. The person doing the audit has nothing to lose. The person that's doing the audit just coming in to do their job. But before we keep going, right? As you see right there on the screen, this is one of the last things I believe he said before he was removed from the planet. Removed from his family, removed from his friends, removed from his loved ones, right? His mom, his dad. Says you better keep asking questions because it's the only way, it's the only thing that will keep us free, right? Short and straight to the point. And I think this statement right here is highly prevalent when he was on the verge of asking the questions. He was on the verge of finding information that would then draw him to ask more questions. Because in truth, his integrity and his honesty about what he's going to find, he would inform. I'm telling you, from what I've gathered, from what I see, I speculate that he would turn around and inform on TPUSA. He would inform on Turning Point Action. He would inform on everything. Because you know why? He believes, from what I see, from what I gathered, he believed in the mission above himself. He believed in doing the work above himself. That's what I gathered from it. People gather what they want to gather from it. People get the information, where they get the information from. They cipher that shit, put it in the mental centrifuge, spin that shit around, and they come out with whatever they come out with. Cool, I respect your opinion. I agree, I don't agree, I don't care. That's not why I'm here. But now you understand what I stand at. That's where I stand. I think he's going to start pulling on them treads, and that tread would have unraveled a whole lot more. And he would then turn around, and because he knows that the mission is more important than him, because integrity, right, is so important to him that he would expose and inform on his own company. That's what I think. Without further ado, let's talk about it. G. Quick little spinny and we in it. You heard? Yo. So this right here is the letter that he drafted up. This letter right here. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe, man. Hit the button. Turn this shit up, bro. It's a nice chill night. Everybody chilling. We talking some shit, chopping it up. Like my boy from the South said, we about to chop it up. This is the letter right here. It's blurry as shit. Effective immediately, Dustin Steriff is taking on a new elevated role with Turning Point USA as its COO. Since joining TPUSA in 2020, Justin has led Turning Point fundraising division, and in his more recent years has been involved in some organizational operations, filling the COO role in many ways, but now officially taking the title and expanding responsibilities. In this COO title, Justin will be directly oversee development, events, finance, TPUSA, fate, media marketing, production, asset management, distribution, Turning Point, education, Brexit, HR, and legal. Justin will also closely coordinate with Andrew Cipher on the National Field Program. In this role, I have empowered him among other priorities to engage in an organization-wide Doge effort. Justin will be assembling a small team to assist in this effort, which is focused on Turning Point USA, becoming more efficient, 1, 2, becoming more cost-effective, 3, unifying organizational success around company-wide metrics and goals, and 4, reshaping company culture. This is the fucking thing that stood out to me. 4, reshaping company culture. Let me explain something to you about cultures. A culture of a corporation, an organization, a business, a unit, a gang, a group of people is what the group does that they decide is acceptable or what is not acceptable. Simply put, let's say my company has a culture of sexism and racism, right? And because it's my company and I'm the leader of the company, right? I might be so detached from it that I'm not aware of it. But it's going on. So the people inside the company have this culture of racism and sexism, right? And everybody thinks that it's okay and it's fine. So the company has a culture of this thing. So it's not just that it's happening, but it's accepted and damn near basically supported. And as a leader, your fucking job is to cultivate a space, right, of pride and dignity, respect. So culture is not necessarily a negative thing. The culture is just the name of it. Now, what the culture is where we have to start splitting stuff up. There's negative cultures, there's positive cultures. Now, on the same token, right? Let's flip the token over. Mob. And we say, my company has a culture of fairness, but firmness, respect, dignity, meritocracy. That's the company's culture. But why would the fourth point in this letter to the TPUSA gang, why is reshaping company culture? Why is that? So what is the culture that's there that needs to be reshaped? That is a very, very, it's very telling in a sense. Not necessarily that culture is fucked off. It doesn't have to be that. But it reads like that. To reshape something is to remold it, right? Change it from what it is right now to something else. Reshaping a cube into a cuboid. That's reshaping of something. You changing it to something else. So this tells me that he's aware of a specific culture. Now, what that culture is, I have my speculations about it, which I'll probably bring it up in an upcoming video. But as you could see, if we go back to the Tyler Boyer video, that boy's wrapped up in his own scandal. And he is a part of TPUSA, and now is a part of Turning Point Action, which also lends back to the first line, effective immediately, Justin Strife is taking on a new elevated role at the Turning Point USA as its COO. Give me 1 second. Yeah. I apologize for the disturbance, yo. But if he fired Tyler Boyer from his COO position and put in Justin Strife, calls for the Doge, for more efficiency, cost effectiveness, unifying organizational success around company-wide metrics and goals, and for reshaping company culture. But the person you remove is in scandal. I don't think that, did the bird get me? Relax. I don't think those two things are separate. I do not think they are mutually exclusive things. I really do not. But like I said, I'll venture forth for maybe like 20 minutes in the upcoming video. Let me finish up this and we can roll into the video real quick. The blessed CEO rollers. Okay, boom. Oh, okay. I expect many positive changes to come from this forthcoming initiative and Justin's expanded role. Please join me in congratulating Justin on his new role with the organization. As always, thank you for everything each of you do for Turning Point USA. Now let's get back to work and save America. That's the letter. Right? I don't think those two things are exclusive. I really, really don't think those things are exclusive. I think those things are very much attached to each other and they're very much tandem. But rolling on, right? Let's take a listen to Barron, right? And throughout this conversation with Barron, listen to Barron, I'll comment throughout. It's probably like 30 minutes. I'll speed it up to save some time off of it. But I think me and Barron are headed in the same direction, in the same river. We probably just in different boats. So shout out to Barron once again. Say the cost, bro. You're doing God's work over there, man, for sure. Boom. Share it. It's up. And we wrote, hey, yo, like, share, subscribe, man. Call a gang. Tell everybody we up in here chilling. Just talking about Charlie Kirk. And that's tragedy. And the conspiracy. I don't care. I call it a conspiracy. I don't care. I think it's a conspiracy. And what makes this thing a complete conspiracy out the gate, if you have any doubt in your mind, they literally paved over the crime scene within days. That screams conspiracy. That screams something is being hidden. So for all these people out here that have all these inclinations that nothing else is going on, why pave it over then? What was the point of paving over the crime scene? That's extremely strange, huh? Okay. No, it's not strange. All right. This is Baron Coleman over there at the RBP. Mix, please drop the channel. Baron Coleman, RBP, the Real Baron podcast. Yeah, Real Baron podcast. Yeah. Drop his channel, please. Anybody want to follow him? Go over there and follow him. He was live today also. I was busy, so I missed it. But rolling.
This clip of Charlie Kirk on the PBD podcast. This was back on, what date was this? October 12th, 2023. So this was 5 days after the famed October 7th event. So 5 days later, he goes on the PBD podcast. I think I played a clip of this podcast. But this one is particularly relevant when it comes to Iran. And look, I'm not going to sit here stupidly watching the screen while you guys watch the side of my head. Not happening tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is a high IQ outfit. I've been reading my logic book. It's helping me.
Yo, this guy's a lawyer, just so you know. So just like how TLA speaks, they have the gift to talk and their brain works in a different way. They find ways how to think about things in obscure ways and look at things differently and look at angles and have conversations about things. You could see him display the same talent as TLA. So when I found out that he was a lawyer, I wasn't surprised. I honestly was not surprised about it at all. But appreciate your mix for dropping that. Y'all should go over there and give him a follow, man, for real. And tell him you came from the village, FDNHT Village Gang.
It's helping me. All right. Yes, someone said I thought the word came from India. Yes, the Proto-Indo-Europeans, the PIEs, the PIEs. Those are the Iranians. The Proto-Indo-Europeans. But that's where the root word in Iran comes from. Now, let me play this real quickly. I want you guys to hear what he has to say. This is incredibly important, and I believe it's why he's dead. Let me say that real quickly. And look you right in the camera and tell you that before I play this. I think this is why he's dead. I don't think it had to do with Gaza. I don't think it had to do with trans furries. I think it had to do with this, either this very podcast, these very few minutes I'm about to play. Hold on, hold on. What is this coming from? Has there been a strike somewhere? All right, I'll pay attention to that while this is playing, but I want you to hear what he has to say here. Incredibly important. Tune in. Pay attention. This is important. I don't know if you could hear it, but it was on mute, so I couldn't hear it. So now let me start over. Well, I'll just play it from here.
Are some of the smartest people that have really been living under radical Islamic captivity for many decades. Why am I bringing this up? Sometimes your intervention can make things far, far.
You are kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. It's because I pulled it down. Oh my gosh.
Democratically elected.
It goes on YouTube. I'm pulling it out. I don't want to look like that. I don't want people to think that's who I am. Golly. All right. It's up. I see it's up. My face is red. I'm embarrassed to be alive right now.
That we, the American government, are the reason why Iran is radical. We did this. They had a democratically elected leader that we did not like. I remember, I believe his name was Mossadegh.
Mossad.
Yeah, right?
Mossadegh.
Yeah, Mossadegh. Thank you. And we didn't like him because he wanted to nationalize the oil. Specifically, the Brits didn't like it.
50s. This is
Yeah, what year was this, PPD?
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. This is before the show.
Yes, he was very popular.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And look right there. Even in Wikipedia, 1953 Iranian coup d'etat aided by intelligence agencies of the UK and United States.
Weird. Got it.
Okay, so then we put the Shah back in, if my memory serves me correctly, who was sick and unpopular, meaning he was actually suffering, physically sick.
Yeah.
And we paved the way for the most radical elements of Islam from a country that, Patrick, you know it better than I do. The Persian people are the most entrepreneurial. They're some of the smartest people that have really been living under radical Islamic captivity for many decades. Why am I bringing this up? Sometimes your intervention can make things far, far worse.
All right. I'm not pulling it down because I don't want to risk that happening again. All right. So you're going to have to watch Little Baron. Okay. Big Charlie, Little Baron. Because I'm not going to risk doing that again tonight. It's a one time only tonight. But he started out by saying, hey, you know why they don't like us? Because we have screwed up their country time and time again for the last 100 years. It is our fault. Now, this isn't your humble host talking. This isn't Baron Coleman. Don't come at me and say, what are you bad-mouthing the United States for? Hey, I'm not. Charlie is. But he's not even really bad-mouthing the United States. You know what he's doing? He's pointing out reality. We caused the problem.
What did he say?
America, because of what we've done over there since 1921. That's what he's saying. He actually says it more specifically here in a little bit. Does that give them an excuse to cause terrorism? Does it give them an excuse to commit crimes? Does it give them an excuse to take life? No, of course not.
Right. That's the thing about speaking truth, right? It might not be a popular thing. It might be looked as, well, you're anti this, or you anti this, you anti that, you against your country, you against this. It might be looked at, even you talk about Semites, right? And they want to call you anti-Semitic and all these things. Just because you have a different opinion or you look at something in the reality scope of things, people are very, very weird about things because they listen through their emotional filters They don't listen to the logical figures. People can't hear stuff and not be attached to it. I could listen to stuff and not be attached to it at all and just enjoy it or hear it for what is being said and have no opinion about it either way. Respect it for what it is. But when you speak in reality stuff, you just have to say that's just what it is. I have no feelings towards it. And if you do have feelings towards it, sure, voice your opinion, fine, whatever. But there's also a place that we could live in a slot that we could live and have conversations with each other and have no attachment to it at all. I could understand what an apple is. That don't mean I like to eat fucking apples. But could I describe an apple to you? Absolutely. Are apples real? Absolutely. But I don't mean I have an affinity for them.
But what it does is it points out that a continued American intervention may not be the best policy going forward. And that's the point he's about to make. And that is why he's not breathing oxygen.
Sometimes intervention is moral and necessary. Our intervention in World War II in Europe was moral and necessary. So what to do? Well, I think Joe Biden should definitely not give them $6 billion. I think that's a good start. I think that sanctions is probably appropriate. But I also think that we have to be really clear that Iran is an enemy of the United States, but it pales in comparison to the immediate and the pernicious and the existential threat that the Chinese Communist Party poses to America. And I don't want to see us get into the Lindsey Graham dream world that Iran is somehow murdering Americans. They are financing terror. They're chanting death to America. But China right now is actively creating fentanyl that comes into our country that kills over 100,000 people. Not everyone for fentanyl, but drug.
What did he say?
Over a majority of them.
Lindsey Graham is a baby black little boy who talks a whole lot of shit, but got no dick in his fucking pants. Let me tell you that shit right now. I know this shit to be true. Yap, 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 waffle, waffle, waffle. Talk that hard shit. Talk all that jazz. But don't got nothing inside of it. What was it? The lion that didn't have no courage in Oz? That's Lindsey Graham. Zero heart. Just a mouth. Allegedly.
100,000 is fentanyl. What I'm getting at is I, as a millennial turning 30, know nothing but Middle Eastern no-win war quagmire.
I know nothing but Middle Eastern no-win war quagmires. And that is the message he took to President Trump in June of this year, when President Trump was considering a strike on nuclear facilities in Iran. And this is the philosophical framework he was operating under. And that was going to be a real problem going forward. That was going to be a real problem going forward. Someone said, don't forget us grumblers over here. I'm not forgetting you guys. I got you pulled up right here. I can see you as I can see Charlie. You're on the same, well, you're on adjacent screens. That was going to be a real problem going forward, because you know what would have happened right now? You know what would be happening tonight as people are placing massive bets on gambling outfits that the United States will strike Iran tonight or strike Iran tomorrow? You know what would be happening as Verizon remains on SOS coverage because I can't use my cell phone because there's been some kind of an outage? Charlie Kirk would be either on the phone with the President of the United States or on his fancy Gulfstream 5 flying to Washington, D.C. or Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster, wherever the Donald happens to be. I'm seeing people say they can't hear. Can you guys not hear? Oh, you might be behind a little bit. Sorry. He would be on his way there saying, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Well, how do I know that? Because he said that on a limited strike on a single facility. What they're talking about now is actual massive regime change. They're talking about now striking the leadership. They're talking now about killing the Islamic Republic heads. That's what they're talking about now.
I'm about to show you something. Brief intermission. I'm about to swap to another video real quick. Look, listen, and pay attention to this shit. I'm telling you, Pay attention to this shit.
Tonight, I wish to speak to you, the proud people of Iran. We're in the midst of one of the greatest military operations in history, Operation Rising Lion. The Islamic regime, which has oppressed you for nearly 50 years, threatens to destroy my country, the State of Israel. The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. And as we achieve our objectives, we're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom. In the past 24 hours, we've taken out top military commanders, senior nuclear scientists, the Islamic regime's most significant enrichment facility, and a large portion of its ballistic missile arsenal. More is on the way. The regime doesn't know what hit them. They don't know what will hit them. The nation of Iran and the nation of Israel have been true friends since the days of Cyrus the Great. And the time has come for you to unite around your flag and your historic legacy by standing up for your freedom from an evil and oppressive regime. It has never been weaker. This is your opportunity to stand up and let your voices be heard. Woman, life, freedom. Zan, Zandagi, Azadi. As I said yesterday and many times before, Israel's fight is not with you. It's not with you, the brave people of Iran, whom we respect and admire. Our fight is with our common enemy, a murderous regime that both oppresses you and impoverishes you. Brave people of Iran, your light will defeat the darkness. I'm with you. The people of Israel are with you. Tonight, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. In the Middle
Yeah, you heard it right. He wants to draw the U.S. into his bullshit. You heard it right. You're not deaf. You're not deaf. You know. And this is not new. This is not new. Don't think that this thing with them boys is new, because it's not. We go back to the Charlie Kirk video. Pay attention. Now all of a sudden the U.S. is talking about going into Iran. All of a sudden Iran is in a state of distress out the blue. You smell that? You smell that? Don't it just sound like Muammar Gaddafi? Nah? Nah? Not even a little bit? No? Okay. Moving on.
This is a totally different, amplified war than what we got back then. And if you remember, and again, I'm not pulling myself down, I'm not making myself big and getting rid of Charlie, because I'm not going to run the risk of starting the next set of this clip and you guys not hearing it. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not doing it again tonight. I'm not doing it again. I've already done it once. We warned you guys this was coming. When everybody last time, they were all in favor, like 95% of the Republican Party, like 80% of the Democrats, all in favor of this limited strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. And you had people like me saying, I don't know about this. You had people like Charlie Kirk saying, please don't do this, Mr. President. And everybody was concerned, not because we were worried that a limited strike on Iran's nuclear facilities would fail or would cause some kind of massive backlash, but because we worried that that wasn't the sum total of where we were headed. And you know what? We're right. Seems like we're right. And after it was over, everybody was like, see, I told you it was going to be a very limited strike. Operation Midnight Hammer, not Josh Hammer, Operation Midnight Hammer. They're just going to fly over there, 36-hour mission, fly back home. Everybody's going to high five each other like we just got off of a mission on Top Gun. And there were some of us, a few of us, including Charlie Kirk in the background saying, I don't like the looks of this. I don't like where this is headed. This doesn't make sense to me. I want to finish this clip, and I do have a little more of this I want to play. There's a few more minutes of this, and it is unbelievably telling. Everybody's sitting around saying, why is Charlie Kirk dead? Why is Charlie Kirk dead? I think we're watching it. I genuinely believe we're watching it. I don't know that it's substantially more complicated than these types of positions he's articulating here.
Right?
Baron, this is what I think. Both these things, I don't disagree with you. I'm leaning more towards when he pulls away from the Zionist agenda. That's what I'm leaning to more. Him pulling away from the Zionist agenda. Him basically acknowledging that this is the thing. When he made that statement, that Candace showed us. When he pretty much said that the donors are leading into every Zionist stereotype, that statement right there tells you two things. He knows there's a difference between a Jewish person and a Zionist. It said the donors are leading into every Zionist stereotype, meaning there's a difference between a Zionist and a Jewish person or Jew, whatever. Is Jew Israeli? Not necessarily Israeli, but there's a difference, right? Clear distinction right there, clean and simple. He didn't say they're leading into the Jewish stereotype. He specifically said the Zionist stereotype. So that means he is fully aware those are two separate things. A Jewish person is not a Zionist. A Zionist person is not a Jewish person. You could be a Zionist and not necessarily be a Jewish person, practicing Judaism. You could be a full-on Christian, evangelical Christian, and at the same time be a Zionist. Zionism, Zionist, that shit is a perverted version of what Jews really live with. How they really live. They pervert it and label it and try to hide it in the same box and in the same cloak, right? As Judaism. It's not. And we all know this. It's different and it's separate. I think that's where I'm leaning at. I'm leaning to the point where the audit and pushing back from the Zionist table, not fucking with them like that because he lost that donor. Them knowing that if he finds out about what they really got going on behind the scenes, I think that's what triggered them and said, this shit can't go no further. Because he already seen the smoke. He's seen the smoke and locked in on it and says, where there's smoke, there's a fire. And just like my girl said,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
not today. Ain't nobody got time for that. Said, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. He seen that smoke. And he knew it was a fire. That I could almost guarantee. That's why he called for the audit. They knew he called for the audit. But let me show you another aspect real quick. If my man's dying wish was to take, let's say, his kid to Disney World, or not dying wish, but let's say we had a conversation a day or two before he got knocked, he's not here no more, by whatever means. And I know that for a fact. He wanted to take his kids to Disney World, but he doesn't have the ability to do it anymore because he's not here. That's my dog. That's my man. That's my broski. I would feel a way to honor him in his absence would be to take his children to Disney World. He didn't get a chance to do it. Cool. He wanted this done while he was alive. Shit happens. He's not here no more. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll take him to Disney World, man. That's how you honor people. Wouldn't that not be super fucking honorable? Would it not be an honorable thing to do and grant his last wish? Things that he were talking about while he was alive, things that he's putting into motion. Why didn't do the fucking audit? Why did they not do the audit? Clearly, he's the big boss. He says something is wrong. We need to go into fix it mode. So now, because he's gone, the issues that he saw prior to him not being here, does the issue now leave? So then him leaving means that he's the issue? You can't put this together and make it make sense. They swear to God that's their man's, that's their homie. She run around, that's my husband, I'm so in love with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But ain't none of them riding as hard as Candace is riding. Ain't that shit weird? Candace riding so hard to figure this shit out. Y'all look weird. And all she doing is trying to put together the truth to figure out what exactly happened. She grinding and riding so hard for the homies that the wife and the homies look like complete busters. They look like some fucking weirdos. Simply all she's doing is searching for the truth. And they can't even muster up consistent stories. Alibi's not working. The lies is the drone, and they didn't have drones, but they knew they had drones, and the dude want to blame the sheriff dude, say about people being on the roof, and like, dog, what's going on here, dog? We are looking at this thing from here in the comfort of our homes, in our cars driving, listening to our mechanics and talk about it. We are here and we are looking at that and we are saying something ain't right. There is smoke. So for sure, without a doubt, there is fire. Thank you, love. I don't see how people could even stop for 1 second and look at Candace like she's doing something incorrect. Because if you think Candace is doing something incorrect, you better have the same fucking smoke for his friends and his homies that ain't done shit yet to honor this dude. They have done nothing to honor him. Nothing, not a thing to honor him. But Tyler Boyer gonna sit there and skin his fucking big teeth over there by Latter-day Saints podcast and talk about his friend and act like a victim, like somebody did something to him. Sound like a baby back little boy. He's a grown-ass man with children. So Tyler Boyer, if you sitting there crying, what the baby's gonna do? Huh? Allegedly. If we put this, Baron, if we put this together, along with is him pushing back from the Zionist table, him calling for that audit, we could put all these things together. I don't think they're mutually exclusive either. I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I really don't think so. I think they could all come together and seal the deal on why he's not here anymore. I'll tell you this. One thing I suspect, which will be possibly in the next one or the one after that, streams. He was going to find some money laundering going on. That's what I'm thinking he was going to go find. Money laundering. That's what I think. I do think so. There's going to be some money laundering. And normally when there's money laundering, there's a product. And I'm going to tell you what I think the product is. Just a little quick glance to my brain. It's going to come in the next show. It's going to come in the TPUSA stream that I'm doing. Probably tomorrow. I probably should do it tomorrow at noon. The product, what I'm thinking the product is firearms and ammo, humans being trafficked, or some of that good old white girl. That's what I think it is. Yep. Or it could be tar. It could be some Mexican tar. It could be. But normally when you see this type of money, when you look at all these big, not conspiracies, but these things that came out through the wash with federal investigations and Iran-Contra and all this shit, there's always a product. There's always a product in motion when you have money laundering. Always. Pressing on.
Yep.
And I am cynical. And I think it's my moral responsibility, my public role as a commentator, to slow down the chatter anytime we're talking about accelerating us closer to another conflict in the Middle East.
It's my role as a public commentator to slow down the chatter anytime we're talking about another war in the Middle East. Mr. Kirk, that's going to create real problems for your ability to continue to breathe oxygen and eat food. Mr. Kirk, that's going to cause real problems.
Yeah.
If you intend for your heart to continue pumping blood around your vascular system.
Yeah.
Mr. Kirk, if you intend to stand, sit, walk, you might not want to have that position. But as long as you do, you're going to have real problems on your hands. Now, notice they didn't take him out that day. That was nearly 2 years ago. He was just taken out 4 months ago. But notice when the planning seemed to really get going. The planning really started to get going about the time it became really important to not have a guy like Charlie Kirk out there saying, I don't think we should go to war in Iran. I don't think we should go to war in Iran.
For sure. I dig it.
That's when it became a real problem. That's when the planning started in earnest to take him out. We'll do, he can go to the White House and he can say, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, please don't strike Iran. And we'll do a limited strike on Iran. But at that point, his days are numbered. At that point, he's a dead man walking. That's why I keep saying time and time again, he was not walking out of Utah Valley University. He was never going to leave Orem University. I renew my challenge to his security team. Show me evidence you guys plan to guard him after September 10th. I would like to see flight records. Did you have?
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's another point. Yeah. Yep. Candace blew the lid on that one. All right. So quick. If you haven't heard it. So after this UVU event, the security guy admitted that their plan and they walk pretty much do the physical surveillance of the facilities that the speech will be going down at. They physically go and see it. They look at points of weaknesses. I'm pretty sure they look at points of entry and exit, right? Safety precautions, and they try to assess it, right? They do a quick surveillance and assessment of the area for all the right reasons. Charlie was scheduled to speak either the next day or the day after, which would be the 11th or the 12th of September. Right? It'll be either been the 11th or the 12th. But the security guard says they do the perimeter walk. Let's say they do the perimeter walk 5 days prior. That means at the next location, they would have already walked it. So let's say they were doing it on the, let's say the next speech was on the 12th, 12 minus 5, right? They would have to do that. They would have to done that walk around on the 7th. They would have to done that walk around on the 7th. You see? Because they do it prior. They do it certain amount of time prior. So they would have had to plan everything out pretty much. So it'd have been UVU. Let's say they go straight there. Let's say the spot was in Colorado. They leave Utah, hit Colorado, rest up, right? Take that day or whatever. Or even if the very next day, ain't no rest, they're going straight at it and locking it. You see? Where was the plan? Where's the flights, right? How are you gonna get there? Where are you gonna stay at? What was the setup for real? But the next location. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's referring to. Candace blew on that this week. This week or last? I think it was this week.
Have flights booked to Colorado? Did you have flights booked to Nashville, Tennessee, or wherever that was in Tennessee? Did you have flights booked back to Utah for Utah State University? Had you talked to the police chiefs? Had you talked to the local officials about setting up a facility for him to speak in and making sure it's secure? If not, I think thoughts like he's sharing with us here are a good reason why that hadn't happened.
Because we did it in Iraq.
Because if they didn't make a plan, if there's no plan for the next location, if the next location was never surveilled and assessed for safety measures and assessed for all the things that they're supposed to be tasked to do, being a security force, being bodyguards, right? Being the first line of protection for Charlie, if they didn't do that, that means they never planned for him to leave UVU.
What did he say?
Back, I think it was a mistake. We spent trillions of dollars and we lost precious American lives, led to ISIS. And you want the thought crime? Honestly, Saddam Hussein kept a lot of the terrorists in check.
Yep, they were scared of him.
He was a bad guy, but he wasn't the worst guy.
Saddam Hussein. Now he's pro-Saddam. I got to bring back the George H.W. Bush in pronunciation of Saddam. He's pro-Saddam.
Saddam sign.
He's saying we probably shouldn't have done this in Iraq. Look at the problem you've had since 2003 in Iraq. You want that same problem next door?
And I think the same thing in Afghanistan. So what do? I think first we have to calm down the neoconservatives that are bloodthirsty and want war more than they want what's best for America.
How do you think that went over in Tel Aviv?
Lindsey Graham.
How do you think that went over in Washington, D.C.? How do you think that went over in London?
Lindsey
How do you
Graham.
think that went over in Canberra?
Baby back, little boy.
How do you think that
Allegedly.
went over in Riyadh?
Baby back, little
These
boy.
are not people who want to be called bloodthirsty neoconservatives. They have a very specific desire, all of them. It's to get rid of Iran's leadership and take over the country. Every one of them.
Question for y'all. Israel is so invested in Iran's nuclear program, so invested in their missile programs, that they haven't registered, fill out paperwork, they don't like it, it's in their region. Iran can literally take out Israel in the blink of an eye. Let's be fucking honest. Iran is a fucking force. Let's not bullshit around. Iran is a force. Iran has one of the biggest aviation setups, military aviation setups out there. Iran is a monster. Iran could wash Israel. Probably in a night. Probably in one night. Hence the reason why they're trying to drag the U.S. into it. That's going to be a very formidable opponent, right? Let's talk about opponent-wise. Israel is not a real opponent, in my opinion, allegedly. But do you think that Israel has registered their programs? Do you think Israel has filled the correct paperwork for having nuclear programs and all these missiles and having all this tech? Do you think they've done it? So you think they've done it, so that's why they want Iran to do it? That's why they don't like the fact that Iran hasn't done it? That's the question.
And you have Charlie Kirk. I think he was 29 years old in this video. What do you think they thought of him? Everybody, after he passed, everybody wanted to, this happens anytime anybody passes. Oh, he was my best friend. Oh, I just loved him. How do you think President Trump really felt at 78 years old, 79 years old, having Charlie Kirk sit in the Oval Office and chastise him about a limited strike on Iran's nuclear capability? Do you think Donald Trump walked out of the Oval Office and said, I don't agree with that, Mr. Kirk, but he sure is a sharp young man. I have a lot of respect for him, and I sure am thankful he felt like he could come to the Oval Office and disagree with me on foreign policy. How do you think that was received by foreign leaders around the world? How do you think Mr. Netanyahu felt about him? Do you think Mr. Netanyahu said, boy, that Charlie Kirk, he sure is doing a good job of organizing Christians on university campuses all over America. Now we'll just have to agree to disagree when it comes to foreign policy in Tehran.
I already mentioned this. But now, allegedly, college campuses, universities are setting up pretty much turning point chapters. Chapters upon chapters upon chapters upon chapters upon chapters all throughout the country, right? Massive push. They want to open up all these chapters for TPUSA. Do you think the new people leading TPUSA will have the same talking points that garnered TPUSA the status, right? The looks that Charlie brought when Charlie was running TPUSA? Think about it for a second. They won't even honor this man and do the Doge audit that he wanted done. Cool. Problem is fixed. Ain't no more problems. Audit not needed. Moving forward. He's not here anymore. Do you think they're going to carry on the same message that he was carrying on with, or are they going to pivot? Or are they about to have a whole new message going on? They about to go in there and remove everything that Charlie Kirk stood for, which was anti-fucking war, anti-Zionist shit, America first, Christian ideals. Kirk had the ability, Kirk accomplished the galvanizing of the youth, college, and millennials down. He galvanized all of them, opened up room for conversation, to speak, respectful dialogues back and forth. He accomplished this and galvanized the youth for the next 50 years in America. He would have enough say-so to swing votes. Let's not act like it didn't happen, because it just fucking happened. And this is me saying this in the thought process of saying that elections are fair and clean. I'm saying elections are fair and clean. Everybody vote counts. It goes into the college picks, president comes out. Right? Boom. The same way we was taught that it works. That's the way it works. Do I necessarily believe that? It's about to be a full-on mess. It's about to be a full-on mess. His message, his stance is about to be watered down. It's about to be pushed for whatever the donors want. Because now Charlie's not dead, so the donors could come back, right? The donors that he pushed away from, the donors that pushed away from him, the things that he was repelling, right? Because he didn't want that stain on TPUSA. People that he pushed away from, the people that he blocked off and put up barriers against, and it was fortifying TPUSA, trying to fortify himself, trying to fortify the integrity of TPUSA and the reputation of TPUSA. That shit's done. It's done. And I say this simply because y'all cannot honor that man in his not being here and him being neutralized and removed from the census and removed from the planet and removed from his family and removed from his kids and removed from his mom and his dad and his nephews, his nieces, his cousins. He's removed from his people around him and his friends and everybody else that truly love this man. He's removed from them, and the fucking people in his company will not honor that man and do a fucking audit, the same audit that he wanted. You think they really finna keep going on with his messaging? You think they really finna keep it popping?
But he sure is a nice young man full of hope and promise. You think that's how that conversation went? After Donald Trump shared with him, after Charlie Kirk supporters shared with him that Charlie Kirk had gone to the Oval Office trying to get the Netanyahu strike on Iran canceled? Do you think that's how that went? He just called these guys bloodthirsty neoconservatives.
Yeah, you know what is this is actually, I think it's going to be filtered. By the way, I don't know if this video is recent or we shared it the other day, or it's right after they killed Qassem Soleimani. I don't know exactly the date of this video, so just kind of verify when this video was. What does it say right there? This video was from 3 years ago. Okay, yeah, this is when we killed Qassem.
Yeah, but
Soleimani.
But the attitude hasn't changed.
No,
right?
no,
it's
no,
not like
Oh, by the
their
way,
opinions have changed dramatically.
You know,
Pat, I am
on the shot thing you talked about with Mossadegh. Mossadegh was a guy that came in who was the modern day Bernie Sanders.
Who want to nationalize everything.
He wanted to nationalize everything. He wanted to, nationalize everything. And then the Shah comes in. The Shah
comes back,
modernizes the whole thing. Education improves. Women finally have no longer, age of marriage for girls are no longer 8 years old or 13 years old. He raised it to, I think, whatever it was, 15 years old. And then women can actually go become lawyers and go to school. Education for women changed. Then what happened in the Middle East when Iran was ran by him, the Shah, is conflict in the Middle East was less, okay? Because now it was Iran who had a good relationship with U.S. for the most part, except when there was Democratic presidents, there was issues. But for the most part, they had a good relation with U.S. And he had his 25-year contract. He wrote if you can go to 1954 Iran oil deal, it was in 1954. The deal was coming up till 1979. That's what it is. So it's called the Consortium Agreement of 1954. This was a deal they did.
Yeah, British Petroleum.
Yeah,
right.
This was a deal they did. That was a 25-year deal. This is what's so interesting about it. Watch this.
He doesn't really point this out, but look at the middle paragraph here. A year after the overthrow of Mossadegh by the United States and the UK in the 53 Iranian coup d'etat, now we get a finalized 25-year oil deal the next year. That's always been the play. And again, can you imagine being a citizen of one of these countries and you're sitting on basically trillions of dollars of wealth under your feet? And you get these outside influencers that come in and say, we demand a huge percentage of it, or we're going to kill you, or we're going to take over your country. I mean, and whether or not you feel like that's what's happening, I don't know, or whether or not you feel like it's justified, that Americans should be able to do that. I've heard that argument here recently. It's a little weird, frankly. No matter your thoughts on it, put yourself in the shoes of the average Iranian person and said, what, we're sitting on trillions of dollars in oil and we're broke. And all these other people, the Brits, the Americans, the Russians, everybody else is coming in, and the French, they're dividing up our oil wealth? Why? Not that Charlie's Jesus, but Charlie had strong opinions on this issue. He was so much smarter than the average 29-year-old back in 2023, sitting on a podcast, pulling history facts out of his head, explaining, hey, are you sure we should go over there and try to overthrow these people?
Whatsoever, the $6 billion for the hostages, how do you deal with Iran?
What do you do?
Yeah, I think Trump had it right, which, remember, there was clamoring for Trump to go to war against Iran and strike, and he resisted that. At the same time, he was tough and very firm, where he, canceled the Iran deal, went after Soleimani. But you have to have your priorities. What is best for America, right? War with Iran is not what is best for America. There's some other facts about Iran that are important, though. I think the Iran situation solves itself over a period of time. I believe 50% of their population is under the age of 35. We can fact check it. They have one of the youngest populations on the planet, and we could fact check it. It might not be that extreme. But
Why do you think they have one of the youngest populations on the planet? I looked this up after he said this as I was prepping for the show. Do you know largely why they have such a young population? They haven't had a major war in the area. Think of all the other countries around them that have what should be demographically similar populations. They've been just absolutely decimated. Basically all of North Africa.
Yeah.
Just decimated. Most of the Middle East, Iraq,
Yeah.
Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon. Iran, because of their natural geographic advantage, has not had much conflict to deal with.
Yeah.
And so they've ended up with this, what is historically probably an average age population. Countries should have young populations.
Remember when I showed y'all the map about that region, right? And how odd it is, how strange it is that the smallest country over there in that region, Israel, has issues with everybody in that region. Ain't that strange? And I showed y'all the water, the Gaza Strip. Then we went Tehran, right? When I showed you where Tehran sits, a little bit inland from the Caspian Sea. But to get into Iran is damn near fortified with mountains. Iran is damn near fortified with mountains. Remember that? When I showed you that everybody had this booming coastal thing going on, even down when you go down to Bahrain and all that, UAE and all that, they got this crazy coastal setup. Guess who don't got one? Remember I showed you Jared Kushner talking about prime real estate?
They should have massive populations under the age of 30.
You have a very, very radical government. The people of Iran are incredibly talented. They're entrepreneurial. They're industrious. And I'm actually more bullish on the future of Iran if you can liberate them from the captivity that they're under.
You do that is my point.
Well,
we saw what happened last year with the girls.
That's what's one of the youngest
60%.
populations.
We saw what happened when a girl took off her job. She was killed, beaten. The women have no rights there.
The answer is it shouldn't be a top priority of the American government because we have so many problems here to execute a CIA.
You see what he just tried to do? He tried to magnify the issues of Iran. Nobody's saying that Iran does not have issues. Nobody's saying Iran is perfect. Nobody's saying that Iran don't got shit going on that's probably fucked up. That's not what nobody's saying. But he brought that up to say, well, they're so bad that they need to be a priority. Nobody's saying that they don't have issues. What we're saying is that what Charlie's actually saying is it should not be a priority, should not be something high up on the list when America got its own issues going on that we need to fix here. Stop funding all these other people in their bullshit wars, playing proxy war games with these fucking people. And B, they're not the biggest threat. 1 and 2, simple, in and out, quick and easy.
A coup d'etat in another country, you have to put sanctions on. You have to put them in check. You have to try to, in my personal opinion, allow Israel to seek justice. At the same time, you cannot allow this to turn into a regional, broader war. You know why? Because the adult America is going to have to come clean it up. That's why. If we just kind of say, oh, it doesn't, this thing turns into a regional conflict, we're going to have more troops on the ground and we're going to have to go clean up this mess, as Trump calls it, in the region of sand and death, while our own country is disintegrating and collapsing.
That's it. That's the whole clip. I was 6 total minutes, and I'm sorry I kept having to interrupt it to elucidate my thoughts. But guys,
go ahead, B. Go ahead.
Listen to the man. He died for this position. He literally died for this position. This is why he's not with us. I believe that.
Yeah.
Yes. It's unfortunate that a woman was killed because she took off her hijab. Now, I just saw some footage, a lot of footage. I sat there and watched like an hour-long rolling clip of people in malls and bazaars and walking down the street in Iran in different cities. And I didn't see any. I mean, I saw a lot of women without hijab. So I don't know why this young woman was killed. I have such a hard time believing all the disinformation that comes out of the mainstream media.
Yep.
When I hear numbers like, oh, 20,000 protesters have been killed. I don't believe you. Oh, a woman was killed because she took off her hijab. I don't believe you. I don't believe you anymore. You have lost the right for me to believe you. Because I believe that's why he's dead. Because he said, yes, it's unfortunate. They would be wonderful. And demographics are on their side. And maybe they just need a little more time. And the younger people will become older people and they'll have a different thought. And the older generation will die off. The boomers will die off over there in Iran. Then as they die off, the younger people will want liberty. Then they'll have an American Revolution style 1776 or a French Revolution style 1789. But we've tried to liberate them 4 different times now. 1921, 1953, 1979, and we're going to do it again? How's it worked out the last 3 times? That interview was from October 12, 2023. October 12, 2023.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to Baron, bro. Yeah. I don't think these things are like, exclusive. I think they all come together. They all culminate. And when push comes to shove, you can't have somebody with that type of magnetism, that type of power, that type of reach to galvanize the youths of America, to have America the next 50 years from having such a great say-so, especially when that say-so is not leaning towards a Zionist agenda, which we see how many politicians in this country on both sides of the aisle pledge allegiance in some weird, strange way to Israel. That is not your country. Your priority should be here. It should be America first. I'm not sending nobody no missiles. I'm not sending nobody no troops. I'm not sending anybody no javelins. I'm not sending anybody no drones. I'm not sending no support until I clean my house first. But the average working American, the average American has to get up and work the 9 to 5, right? Or work a 12 to 12, right? A 12 to 10. Clocking these hours in these establishments, in these corporations, are fighting on a daily basis, living paycheck to paycheck, grinding their knuckles, their backs, their bones, their feet, their knees on a daily basis right here. You think when they hear that the government is giving out assistance to other countries to fight a war, how do you think that makes them feel? When the people that they elected to fight for their rights and speak for their communities and their constituencies, how do you think they feel when they see people thousands of miles, water so far you can't see the end of it? People so far they probably never met one person from these people countries. But that's where their taxpayer dollars are going, to fund proxy war bullshit. When they sit in here in their own land, when they sit in here in the land that they was born in, and they suffer. If it ain't gas, it's grocery. If it ain't grocery, it's rent. If it ain't rent, it's mortgage. If it ain't mortgage, it's lights. If it ain't lights, it's childcare. Paycheck to paycheck for years. People getting laid off of jobs, been grinding. Then they just get laid off. How do you think they feel when they hear and see what is perceived to look like the government cares more about people that are not from here? people that siphon off of this country, siphon from their tax dollars to fund their bullshit. Do you think that fills them up with fucking pride? You think they feel so fucking American? You think they feel cared for? Is that what we're going with? No. I could tell you it's something that's probably extremely painful. They probably feel extremely disrespected. They probably feel extremely neglected and left to the side to fend for themselves. When in times that you do need government to step in and give aid and give assistance, they're not getting it. When it's their tax dollars that's going into the same system that's turning their backs on them. I'm pretty sure that's a good feeling. And I'm just speculating here. I'm not speaking for nobody. I'm just doing a thought experiment in my brain right now, thinking about some shit. The great America, the war dog of the planet. You got veterans sitting on corners out here with signs, tattered up jackets, fatigue jackets that's tattered up and blasted up, dirty and dingy and grungy. They can't get assistance. After going over to other people's countries and dodging slugs, being maimed, got to get slugs taken out their body, got to get sent home with missing limbs. You think they feel like they cared for in the country that they went to war for? To somebody else's land that they didn't know it, but they were just told that this person's a bad person? Go figure that shit out. Hundreds of thousands of men that was drafted, that was at home chilling with their families. They got drafted, them and their sons, their uncles, nephews, all suited and booted. You think they feel cared for? Is that what we're going with? Charlie had the power to galvanize the youth. His reach was so long, he could change politics. He could change how people vote. He could galvanize people and look in a certain direction. Imagine he just says, you know what? We're done with Israel. And not necessarily the regular Jews, right? The regular everyday Jew that does the same thing we do: work, go home, take care of the kids, feed the wife, kiss the wife, have a kid, try to get down the road in this thing we call life in a peaceful manner, right? Trying to muster up some type of joy, some contentment in his life. But he say, fuck Zionists. Fuck the Zionist agenda. You know how many people would ride with that? I wonder how many people don't even comprehend that there's a difference between Jews or Zionists. I wonder how many people even know there's a thing called Zionists. But you know what? Them not knowing the specific terms, fair enough. I tell you what they do fucking know. They know pain and they know suffering. They know neglect and they know disrespect. That's what they do know. They do know what it is to live paycheck to paycheck. I bet you they know that. I bet you my bottom dollar, they might not know the names, specific names, these lock-ins and these things that these people use to these labels and for these groups. But I tell you the fuck what I bet you I'll bet you a skinny man to a fat man. They know what suffering is. They know what pain is. They know what neglect is. They know what disrespect is. They know what living paycheck to paycheck is. They know what not knowing where the next meal coming from. They know how to rob people to pay Paul. I can't pay the light bill this week. This month, I'm going to push that over to here. I got some little time on the water bill. I think I can hit the water bill this month. I got some time on the phone bill. Okay. Hey, yo, Verizon. Yeah, I'm kind of tight right now, yo. Let me just push this off for like 2 weeks. I got you, though. And then in 2 weeks, I give you half. And then 2 weeks later, I give you another half. I bet you didn't know that. A water company, I only got like 60. I know. If I give you 60, don't cut the water off. I know I'm behind 1 month. I bet you they know that. I bet you they know how to stretch $20 to feed 6 people. I bet you they know suffering. So sure, they don't have to know the names. Janda. I bet you they don't have to know the names, but they know the feeling. They have the experience of suffering. They have the experience of being neglected. I bet you they know that. Him pushing away from the Zionist table and saying it out loud, making the clear distinction between Zionists and the regular, everyday a Jew, right? And making that clear distinction, clear as day, tells you that there is a Zionist agenda. There is Zionist stereotypes, and he acknowledged it. Have y'all seen? I'm about to close out. I'm already at 1:30. Yeah, it's closing out soon. Have y'all seen that boy Tyler? Like for real. I've seen him twice now. In the court. That dude don't look like the dude that was on camera. I digress. The same photograph that they had to go AI enhance to figure out who it was. That guy. Does that dude look like he even know what the fuck is going on? That dude look like a MK Ultra zombie. He looks like he has no clue what is going on. Both times I've seen him. The first time, I believe he was in shackles behind the camera. I believe they're doing a telecon. Not necessarily a telecon because he was in the building, but he was in the courtroom. I think he was behind the glass in the back room on a telecon with the judge and the lawyers or whatever the case was. And I seen him recently. I think it was it late December? It was recent. Either late December or early January. Do that dude look like he know what's going on? That boy look confused. He look like he don't know where he at. Like a zombie. Fall Guy. Patsy. Legs, what up? Yep. 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 They look like they cooking that boy's skull. That boy look like he's fried. Upcoming shows. TPUSA. Anton versus Corey. Anton versus Corey. TPUSA. And oh, that might be it. Oh, yeah, I have to load this one in. All right, cool. I'm about to drop it. Fuck it. This is what I think happened. There's a guy named John Bray. I've been tracking his information, his data. Fire. makes complete sense, and it works. All guys did the same thing with the sound. Made sense and it works. So the other day, started doing a little bit of research. So I took all guys and I paired it with John Bray, and it made complete sense to me. And I'll tell you how I ended up at this one. The rifle was fired. We picked it up on the sound. Well, not we, but all guys picked it up on the sound and showed it to you. I showed you guys when all guys did the physics, right? He did the physics for it. Somebody else reviewed it, thumbs it up. They say it works. It's perfect. It's good to go. Cool. So all guys is saying the rifle was fired into a block, which is made to absorb the round. Round is secured. All guys are specifically saying the round was fired into the back of the SUV. The SUV door that goes up and then comes down, boom. Yeah, I believe them. You know, this thing was halfway crooked. They scared to death. They shook it. Yeah, what up? You know. Real talk. So the rifle was fired. The bullet gets caught in the trap. SUV closes. That's why you had this crack and the thud. It's called a crack and thump. Crack and thump. It works perfectly. How then does John Bray's exploding microphone theory fit in? This is how it fits. The device, the microphone, the pin microphone, not the one in the hand, the one that's pinned to his chest, that goes off because it's sound activated. This is the issue with sound activation. It is susceptible to other noises. I said, that's fine. So I said, what is the normal decibel of what they call a fake round? Because I went back to it. What if it was a fake round? It wasn't a real round, right? It wasn't a real fully full metal jacket setup. It was just a fake one, a blank. Say, well, blanks are still pretty loud. So a blank still does work. A blank it still works because the decibel level is still high enough. So the microphone is picking up chatter. It's gonna pick up people clapping. It's gonna pick up the water bottle falls off the table. It's gonna pick up all those sounds, right? Because the microphones are fire. They're fire. But those sounds don't hit the decibel level. So the sound had to hit a certain decibel level to engage it. Made sense. So I said, what is decibel level of a blank versus the decibel level of a real round? They're not that far off. In the decibel range, they're not that far off. Boom, that was it. I solidified it. I'm good with it. That's what I think happened. A round was really fired. I don't think it's Tyler. I don't think it's him. A round was actually fired. It went into the trap. When the round is fired, the sound wave, supersonic, boom, charges it, it explodes. Remember, the microphone will pick up on a bunch of sounds. So when they say sound activated devices, the first thing you will hear about is how unreliable it is. Because if it's picking up sound, it's picking up sound. It's going to pick up sound, right? But the decibel level will create a wave. That wave, sound wave at that decibel level could ignite it. And it works. It perfectly fucking works. So shout out to John Bray for his information. Shout out to all guys for his information. I put it together the other day. That's exactly what I think happened. It was sound activated at a certain high decibel level So that way, other sounds, odd sounds, people clapping, things falling down, somebody sneezing right next to him, him clapping himself. Those decibel levels are so low, it wouldn't set it off. With a high enough decibel level coming from a rifle, with that decibel level, that range of sound, it works. What you got? Trin, what do you think about Dr. saying that it was a fragment? Okay, so okay, this thing. Fragmented rounds make sense. It makes sense. But the travel and where it ended up at doesn't make sense. Because it ended up down here, like C5 or some shit. Hold on, I have it here. Damn, where is it? I have it here. I have the diagram of it. Where they say it ended up. I gotta scroll. Give me a second. I gotta scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. This was way early on when I had the diagram. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I'm pretty sure it's in here. I'm still scrolling. Yeah, where it ended up at wouldn't work. Fragmented rounds usually they usually tend to disappear. They break up. You really don't find a round. It's made to basically disappear. I'm still looking for it. Give me a second. So even if the round hit and it broke down, it would go from traveling like this, pretty much traveling like this immediately. It doesn't. No. It's not even the body's not even hard enough to change it. It would be changed. Be at 90, not a 90 degree, but the degree would be different. Up, coming from this angle, making contact, and then going down, and something about it came up and went down. It was some crazy physics that was. Hold on, who has it? I think John Bray actually has it. Give me 1 second. I'll try to find the diagram. But yeah, it wouldn't. No. I thought about it too for a while. I even I shot what's the name a message about it. What's buddy name? Big dude over there by Valhalla. Even shot him a tweet about it to see what he was thinking about the fragmented rounds. Like, let me see what he thinks about it, because he's here right here. Because he's a warrior. Well, a retired warrior, I think, but still a warrior nonetheless. Green Beret warrior. So they would know, they would have more subject matter expertise on it. All right, here it goes. Damn, you can't even see it, huh? Fuck. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll save the image and pull it back. Give me a second. We're about to close out soon. I'm just trying to answer mixed question real quick. All right, cool. You see? C1, C2, C3, 4, 5, 6, 7 downward angle. Oh, T1. They end up at the T1. Yeah, and apparently it crushed a bunch of these. Yeah, apparently it crushed a bunch of these right here on the way down. So it came in here and went down here. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. But there we go right there. That's the picture. There's the let me pull back to yeah, this was when they were talking about the bones of steel. I remember that. It was like bones of steel. The doctor was like, it's a miracle because people behind him should have been knocked to all other shit. I remember. As I remember. Yeah, that's yeah, it wouldn't work. But yeah, that shit that a magic bones and bones of steel and yeah, Popeye theory and all the other shit. No, I'm not jacking it. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm putting a pin in it. We at 145. Yo, y'all know it's a love thing from FDNHT. Trin, he and I, him, Slim Trim, and I'm built when I'm Granny's baby numero uno flaco fuerte. Yo, the host that will never ever do the least, but I'll never ever overdo it and do the most. It's a love thing. Take care of yourself. You take people around you. Love yourself so you can love around you. I got 2 shows coming up. One's gonna be the Corey Holcomb Anton show, and the other one's gonna be Octopussy. We talk about how I'm scheming. I'm looking at the TPUSA company, LLC, whatever you want to call it, and how I'm thinking there's a lot going on in there, especially when we see Danksky over there by Dank. Dank talk about the and Wolf Finance talked about the tax returns and how the shit look funny and the money moving here and they know it just came in and paid for this and then they bought this and this all that grimy slimy shit with the finances. So yeah, it definitely looks like money laundering to me. That's it for tonight. Yo, appreciate y'all coming through, pulling up. Hit the like button on the way out. Y'all know it's a love thing for show. Appreciate all the support. Like, share, subscribe. Call the gang. Tell them we up in here. I see y'all in a couple hours. Maybe like maybe less than 12 hours to be honest with you. Next time I fire up the camera, that'll probably be like 10 hours. Maybe like 9 actually. But yeah, take care of yourself. Enjoy your day. Be productive. Be peaceful. Be polite. Be positive. Right? Excuse me. Yo. See y'all soon. You jumping back on? Yeah, legs be pulling back up. 3 p.m. Eastern, yo. 3 p.m. Eastern, we pulling up. Petty, what up, dog? 3 p.m. Eastern, around 3 p.m. Eastern, we pulling back up. So I can shoot the Octopussy. I might shoot the Anton show. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna shoot, but it's definitely going down. Day 1 right there, my man, 100 grand. Good to see y'all here in them streets, boy. Day 1 right there, grassroots. I catch y'all soon though, bro. Hey, yo, we be back about 10 hours. To the wire.